Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 233, 22nd of December, 2021. Casey, we are in the home stretch of the year closing out.
That we are. I've got to prepare an end-of-year show for Sunday. I'm not going to do clip shows or anything, but I do want to put a couple slides in there.
1 year worth of clips. You've heard it, folks. That's what's happening this Sunday on Casey's channel. So
no, I'm not a fan of clip shows, so I don't want to make my own.
That, of course, is Mr. Casey Green joining us from the DC area. How are you today, sir?
Doing quite well. A little bit chilly. It's 41 degrees Fahrenheit out, and we had some rain yesterday. And as you guys might have seen on my driving in the drizzle video, because it wasn't enough rain when I decided I was going to make a video, so I didn't want to cut the concept entirely. And then, of course, yesterday it decides to act a fool, whereas at the end of the video, it did something I hadn't seen on this version. It quit. It's like, hey, no. It said that the gave me an error about the cameras, and I couldn't see anything wrong, and it literally just drove me to the third trip, and then it stopped. And yeah, and it was behaving as if Sentry Mode had locked it up, but Sentry Mode locks it up before you start driving, not in the middle of a chain of drives. But you can check that out if you're interested.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
I'd like to say hello to Anders and Sebastian, who have made themselves known inside the chat room. Hello, both of you. Merry Christmas.
As well as all the
holidays.
shy people. Yeah,
Well,
all the shy people in there not shy.
Just
Okay.
at least say hello. Just say hi.
Yes.
That's all you have to do.
Hello from Anonymous.
Give us an emoji, something. Just say
Yes.
you're there. So, yeah, welcome to the show.
There's Derek.
Derek is there. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, we got a bunch of news to go through today. Not like every other week. It's the same drumbeat of more news every day, really. And, of course, if you want to follow us through the week, you can find out what's going on with our Twitter feed at The Tesla Life or our Facebook feed, The Tesla Life #1. And you can follow us throughout the week in between shows. But today, we thought we would start with the Model 3 winning Edmonds EV of 2022. So here we got a car that is now, it debuted in, what was it, late 2017. And we've got a car that has won the Edmonds prestigious award basically 4 years later, 5 years later, they're saying for 2022. So, yep, the Model 3 is still going strong. Sales are tremendous, and Edmonds thinks it's the best EV out there for this coming year as well. And having owned one now for coming up on 40 years, okay, 3.5, I would say that they're bang on. That the car is just wonderful. Happy to own one, and have not regretted it since I bought it.
I was noticing this weekend when I was going through all the news. They kept saying all these awards for 2022, and I was like, well, how are they so sure of what's coming out in the next year?
Yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it? Like
I get it partway through.
Yeah, it's like, what if something gets released in summer?
And that was particularly my thought when it came to the SUV of the year and the truck of the year, because the Rivian was out, but you got the F-150, you got the Cybertruck, you got a whole bunch of trucks coming out in 22, or potentially in 22, according to the manufacturers. And then the SUVs, you've got the Rivian R1S, and you've got all these other SUVs that are coming out, and they went ahead and called it the Mustang. So, I mean, the Mustang, okay, I get it, that's a good car, but there was literally only one truck out, and the year hasn't even started yet, and you've declared that the truck for the whole year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rivian picked up that award.
I mean, they deserve it, but at the same time, can we decide this in the fall? Maybe.
Well, wouldn't make news at the end of the year show, I guess. That's the way it goes.
Maybe in the spring or summer.
Yeah, or you announce it after the year's almost done and say,
sometime in that year.
This past year, the winner is this.
I like that. I like that.
But we
You
got
can
a
do this.
new chat room. Hello, I have got no idea how to pronounce it. It looks Russian. You
Yeah,
see that? I
I
have
do
no
see that.
idea.
I have no idea. But hello to you.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Yes, they can keep their whole it must be all new or it must be this much refresh or whatever their qualifications are for each of the different awards, and still do them sometime through the year or in 23 say, hey, this is the car that won for all of 22.
Exactly.
The only weirdness would be if you award it to a car that just got canceled.
Yeah. And hello to Robert William, who
Yes.
joins us as well. Well, with that, next, let's talk about Model S spotted on the test track with a change. And what is that change, Casey?
So, we've been saying, it's a little weird that they would be shipping the Model S refresh with the same small port that we saw since forever, because in Europe they've already gone CCS only, and that port flap that we have doesn't cover or hold a CCS port. And so now we see spy shots of a Model S with the Model 3 style charge port door cover. And now the speculation is that may allow them to put a native CCS port on Model S and Model X. Mark has a picture here. So, up above is the current port, and you can see it's just a little flap in the reflector. And then down below, we can see the new charge port cover, as well as they made the taillights and the rear trim a little cheaper and easier to install. They don't go all the way across anymore. They just go in between the taillights instead.
Right. So speculation is that there may be room for a CCS port underneath there, right?
Right. And then on the China models, you don't have to put a port in the body metal, which would be tough to do with this one being single cast. You can then kind of just stagger them. So you've got your European port here and your Chinese port here, and then they can just plug in one or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So and certainly making that standard across the board would help Tesla's manufacturing. Wouldn't have to change parts if for whatever reason Fremont had to make European models or whatever. If and of course parts get cheaper if you standardize them, and you're buying them for all upcoming 4 factories at once, and everybody gets the same part. So there's pluses all around. It makes a lot of sense. There still may not be, of course, both charge port accessibilities in the North American model.
Oh, of course.
They may just
like
stick with the Tesla charger as they have all along. But having the room to swap that out and put in one with a dual or just a CCS gives them that flexibility in other markets where the governments require certain charge port requirements.
Yeah, and we've seen that on the current Model 3 and Y, where on the US we just get this big plastic plate and then a Tesla 2 port, and the other benefit to that, like you said, is not just if Fremont's making somebody else's car. Is we saw that legislation get pushed in, what was it, Indiana, Illinois, something like that, where they want to require CCS very much like Germany did. So if that comes to be and Tesla has to make a swap, they can literally just stop putting that plastic cover around and then put in a standard port instead of the Tesla port.
Exactly. Hello to Mo. Hello to Clifton and Anders. -4 Celsius is what I'm at right now too.
Oh my!
So Sweden and Canada neck and neck in the temperature wars. Well, so that's kind of cool. And speaking of Canada, Casey's got our next story, which he didn't know. I bet came from Ontario.
I didn't realize it came from Ontario.
Yeah.
What
happened here? This of course is the battle with the country road tree.
Yes, it was. I'm trying to also get my.
Are you gonna share a photo?
No.
Or do you want me to do that?
I want you to do that. The article closed for some reason on my screen. So what happened here was these folks were driving along, and another car behind them had a dash cam, and a tree decided that it was going to fall on a Model 3. Yes, it rhymes. And thankfully, everybody made it out all right, and the Model 3 roof held up just the same way that we've come to expect from the Model S glass roof, and it was quite something to see. Do you have the video as well, Mark?
I do not have a video lined up. No.
Okay, it was
Yeah,
it was quite
you can catch the video with the link.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You've got a photo of it falling off the tree. You can see it here. It's in free fall, about to hit the vehicle. Apparently, this
all of that hit.
Yeah, the whole thing dropped right on the car. And apparently, the car behind was filming. This was a wedding party going to a reception somewhere, and this car went through, and the wind just caught the tree. It broke and it dropped as the Model 3 went under it. And as you can see, it hit in between the A and B pillar, and obviously shattered the glass roof. And of course,
bent the frame.
And that trim is not going to buff out. You're going to have to replace all of that. But
if it's not total,
is it didn't collapse in on the occupants.
Right. And it might have on another car, because when you see the video, the Model S or the Model 3 bottoms out and bounces. The tree also bounces. It was quite horrifying to see, and oof.
Yeah, I'm
just glad that
to be involved with that. But
I'm just glad that my family's in the safest car in the world.
Yeah, that's another plus that we get to drive in a safe car, and certainly you don't want to go out and check out the how strong they are, but it is interesting to watch this video and see that, hey, my car can take a hit like that. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, over the past Sundays, we were talking about some of the other electric cars that one got reduced to a 0 score, and the other one is all new and inexpensive, and it got a 1 star. So it matters.
You don't want a 1 star.
I'll take the 1 star over the 0.
Well, I guess if you're looking at the positive side of things, yeah, I guess so. But maybe you know this. Sebastian's asking, is the 44.25 released yet in the United States? That, of course, is the new holiday pack. Do you know? Have you heard of any Americans that have received it?
I haven't seen any civilians with it, but I've seen spy shots, as in probably some Tesla employees that should not be sharing their experience.
And we'll certainly get to that story later in the show today. But I've only seen it in Europe so far, with people talking about it. So we'll see. Again, it's not Christmas yet. It's coming. It's
coming. They're usually really good at this. They get it out before Christmas Eve most years.
Yeah.
Even if it is only 1 fire emoji instead of 2. But this is our second fire emoji, only a year later.
Yeah. Well, switching topics to tunnels, the Boring Company has, of course, suggested to San Antonio about a tunnel that they want to build between the airport and downtown. And this particular tunnel, of course, San Antonio put it out to bid, so others could bid on it. And apparently, what has happened is there have been some competing bids from other companies. So some of it, one of them was another tunnel, and then there was another thing about a light rail, and they're not exactly like this is doesn't have to be a tunnel to be someone that bids against it. Someone could say, we'd like to build a light rail line, and it would be able to do X, and a tunnel can do Y, and the city, of course, then juggles and decides what's best fit for them. But at least there is a competing bid, whereas, of course, in Fort Lauderdale recently, the Boring Company had submitted an unsolicited proposal, and the city got 0 other bids for that same project. So it looks like in Texas, they've got a few to test against to decide what's best for the city. And it'll be really interesting to see as they get towards the selection process as to what the city decides. But I think the Boring Company The only possible issue they may run into is that they're still very young. They've only got one tunnel that's running that is currently
Public.
about what 1.6 kilometers or 1 mile long in each direction, two
Yeah.
tunnels side by side. And of course, Las Vegas has approved the dig to go further. I believe they're still digging right now over to the Resorts World, which yeah, I think the tunneling is almost done on that. And then Las Vegas has approved a larger tunnel to run along the strip as well. But none of that work has proceeded as far as I understand at this point. It's just working on the Resort World. So there is a chance that another city could look at it and go, not sure. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see as this goes along.
I think we'll start to see them win more bids after they open up a couple more stations,
Yeah.
because right now there's 3 stops, and it's a lot harder for some old minds, not saying like anything ageist, but people who only know what they see, and they've only seen subways and trains. And so when you've only got 3 stops, it doesn't make sense that you can skip one. But as this thing grows to 5 stops, to 10 stops, and they see how much more efficient it can be, but just adding in 10 cars, 30 cars, versus how much it costs to add a whole train system to the existing rail, and then by the way, now that you've added the train, it can't go past the other train that's blocking the track right now. Stop for people.
Right. Yeah, that is something that is really a paradigm shift for people to think about, because you're right. You're not used to thinking that the train could go by another train. If it's a car and there's room to do so, why couldn't it not just skip 3 stops and go to the 4th?
Yeah, because they're not stopping on the path. They're stopping
Right.
at the station, and the station pulls them off of the track if they're loading or unloading.
So
the track. The tunnel.
Yeah, the non-existent track, exactly.
There was a track in the prototype.
Next, talk a little bit about 4680 battery production equipment, which was being installed in Texas. So Giga Texas had received some 4680 equipment, and the sharp crystal eyes of the drone army spotted these boxes going in with the markings of 4680 battery equipment, production equipment, and actually they continued following it from the outside. So I just imagine if you're at this factory and you're working inside, hearing a crash and a buzz of drones is probably an everyday thing going on, as people look around outside and see that these things are buzzing around constantly, looking in the windows, seeing what's going on, and flying above, the construction workers as they're pouring concrete or putting up walls. It doesn't matter. Just, it's got to be a real sight with like 3 or 4 drones buzzing the thing daily, like nonstop.
Oh, for sure. But of course, the thing is so big. Do you even notice the drones if they stay up high enough?
Yeah. They've got tremendous zoom on them now. So some of these drones are almost like satellites, where they don't even have to be close to the location for it to pull a tight zoom in.
This one has to be really close, though. That one we're looking in the window at the battery side, because the whole fear of people looking in the windows generally means that you can hear them, because you get the whole way that the glass reflects and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So, but in this case, it was true, because there's a drone peering in the window.
There it is, staring at you through the wall.
Well, it's not
the window.
It's not peeping at people. It's peeping at machinery.
And of course, Tesla plays this too. Like when they when they placed the Cybertruck demo model, on the second floor and pointed it outwards, or when the Model Y was left in a just the body in white, or the colored body in white was left without a set of wheels on it, just on a cart pointed in a particular direction, so the drones could easily spot it. So it's I'm waiting for Tesla to do the car carrier kit when they painted on the side of it, or stenciled, not a Model.
Not a Y. That was fun.
I'm still expecting that kind of fun as well.
Somebody pointed out one of the crash tests, they used the new Giga Berlin color for the crash test.
Right. So that's terrible to see. Just a brand new car put onto that sled, and you know what's going to happen to it. It's like, oh, that's terrible. But
Yeah.
again, safety. It's improving safety. That's what it's there for, to test it, to make sure that these are the safest cars in the world.
Yes.
So, but still, I cringe every time I see one of those videos with the shiny red car heading into the concrete abutment. And it's like, oh, that's it. I feel like saying, hey, I'll take that rim on a discount. The rim on the other side that didn't get affected.
Right. Well, we still got that crash test paint on it.
I can get rid of that. No problem.
There you go. That'll buff out.
Yeah, that's not concerning. I'm just going to use it for a winter rim anyway.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Here's an interesting story about the Model S. Recently, an update to the software, an OTA, had activated a couple of microphones that are in the Model S, and it was determined that this activation allows active road noise cancellation technology to start to work. So, not content with just trying to quiet the cabin with regular abilities of the double pane glass, the molding, the other aspects physically that can be added to the car. Tesla has now employed the ability to record the noise from the road that is being heard in the cabin, compute it, and then send out an anti-noise that counteracts the road noise. So you're basically, the road noise hasn't gone away. It's still being heard in a car, but Tesla is playing a sound through the speakers that enables a cancellation to effectively happen, so that the road noise in a lot of cases completely disappears to the human ear, because it's being masked with a additional sound that covers it up.
Yep. So they play an inverse sound wave of whatever they're hearing. So it's very much like you've got a wave in the ocean and then a trough that matches it exactly. And so then when they crash, they form a perfect level. And what we hear is silence, which is what we want.
Which is crazy. But
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So that brings up the next question of Elon mentioned about listening for emergency vehicles. Will you require this hardware for that to happen? And what if you can't listen for emergency vehicles? In that same video from Sunday, Saturday, that video I drove in the drizzle, I got passed by an ambulance that had the sirens on, but for some reason not the lights. Even through an intersection. He went through an intersection with no lights, just the siren. And so if my car is later, still in service whenever the robotaxi thing happens, it would have not been able to determine what was going on there. It would see it, obviously, but it would be too late because there'd be no emergency lights.
That had to be an oversight of the driver of the emergency
I hope
vehicle.
So.
I would think so. Especially going through an intersection with just the noise does not make any sense to me.
None.
Because you see the opposite. Sometimes emergency
vehicle
will go through with the lights and they're not blasting on the horn. They're just.
I prefer that late at night.
Yeah. If there's no danger of other vehicles, they typically don't use the sirens going through an intersection.
Yeah, but, I'm on a main route for them, and man, at night sometimes it gets a little out of hand.
It's a lot of noise. Absolutely.
Yes. Hey JT.
So hi JT. So the so it is interesting that your point though, Casey, is that in the cabin wouldn't matter as much. Like maybe they should have mics on the outside of the vehicle to pick up that ambulance noise as well. Because it could be muffled by the double pane windows and everything else.
Exactly. Although the exterior pedestrian warning speaker, if done right, all speakers are microphones and all microphones are speakers. Just they're not necessarily good at the other job.
Right, they're not as good.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see if as Tesla improves the spotting of emergency vehicles, will that include the audio cues from those vehicles? That would be interesting to find out.
An
But
easy way to do it. You only
yeah,
got like 9 different sounds per region to listen for.
right, right.
Yeah.
So they should be able to pick that out. Hell, if they can figure out how to noise cancel, picking up a distinct noise should be fairly elemental compared
Yeah.
to other things, for sure.
And Anders brings up a good point. He says, why not soundproof the cars they have with other brands? They started that, late last year, with the Model 3. They added what they call the double pane windshield, which is a double laminated window. And then when they did the Model S and X, they did that as well. And they also did the rear windows. And now on the Model Y in China, they're doing the rear windows as well. And it's looking like Germany is going to start with the 4 windows with the soundproof windows. So they're taking this to heart. It's just some items move much slower than we would like with their continual improvement.
And of course, unlike an ICE car, there is no motor to muffle the noise.
Right.
There is no whine of a motor that is muffling the noise or the shifting of a transmission or whatever else. So it is a little bit more difficult. But I don't know. I guess it depends on what car you came from switching over to a Tesla. Some of the higher end vehicles had excellent noise cancellation in them as well. But I know that I don't know. I never had a problem moving into my Model 3. It was not noisy at all as far as I could understand. But again, I wasn't coming from high end into the Tesla. I was coming from below into the Tesla. So
same here.
Yeah.
When I was selling cars, Honda on their V6 engines with the active cylinder deactivation system, they had a system that would do this, but just for the engine noise. And Acura and Lexus and several others had a older version of this microphone tech that would sample and then play the inverse wave. And they had varying levels of success. All of them were really good at filtering out the terrible cacophony of their own engine when it went into the non-optimized. Well, it was fuel optimized rather than performance optimized. But when they went into other mode, they didn't sound so good. So they were able to mask that so that you didn't have any additional discomfort. But varying success on whether or not you could actually have a smoother, quieter ride from the microphone on those older cars.
Yeah. Speaking of masking, recently, Recurrent, which is a testing website, decided to test EVs as it relates to the coldness outside and the range that they would get. So they tested a range of EVs that were available to them, and not surprisingly, Tesla again comes out on top with the brand that would lose the least amount of range or mileage when it comes to cold weather. And of course, what happens to chemical batteries as they get very cold, they're not as efficient. Batteries love to be about the same temperature that people love to be at, so somewhere about 75, 80 degrees. They love that temperature and are optimally charged for that. So you get your most mileage when it is that type of a temperature. When you get into the low and cold temperatures, the battery, the electrons don't move as quickly and freely through the chemical in the battery. So you've got a range. In some cases, depending on how much heat you use in your vehicle and whether the car was preconditioned or not, and of course how fast you're going, you can see a drop of a third to 50%, depending on the vehicle that you have and the conditions that exist. But this Recurrent test tested batteries in a number of different cold states, and they determined that the Tesla battery management system, along with the batteries themselves, performed the best for the least amount of range lost when it came to colder temperatures. So that's right up my alley because, of course, -4. It's if you leave your vehicle out in a Canadian winter, you can sometimes see crazy temperatures of minus 30 degrees Celsius. Doesn't happen all that often where I am, but certainly the city of Winnipeg, Manitoba, which we love to call Winterpeg, because it absolutely is freezing. This is a city in Canada that actually at almost every one of their city-owned parking lots, they have an electrical box for every parking space. Because of course, in the old days before electric cars, block heaters were what kept those vehicles from starting, or kept them starting on those cold winter nights. So yeah, you can get some definitely cold temperatures, but what's really nice about the Tesla is that, of course, there's no cranking required on an electric vehicle. It just has to throw a relay and the car starts up. So not a lot of friction. Block heaters aren't required at all to keep those electronics from just throwing that switch, basically. But
you still want to plug in at that block heater when you got it, because it
yeah, you get a few
keep
extra
it warm.
kilometers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep that battery just topped up a little bit.
Keep it near operating temperature. I think that Tesla said less than 24 hours at negative 30 and less than 24 hours at, what was 100 and something ridiculous.
Yep. And of course, we're not going to go through the whole list, but the worst performing vehicle on the list happened to be the Chevy Bolt. So
go figure.
You can go check that out. All of the links to the stories we talk about today are in the show notes, and you can click on those links and go into some more detail if you would like to read into any of those articles. They're available to you to use.
And that holds true on the podcast as well.
Exactly. Next, we heard from Elon about an opening party that is being scheduled.
When does Elon not have a party?
We just do not have the date yet. But we knew this after, of course, there was an opening party for Giga Berlin to show to the locals, and of course, invite a number of people to it that were non-local as well. But the party happened at Berlin way before opening, because still it hasn't opened, as you know. Austin, Texas is rumored to be open any day now. We're just waiting. In fact, I'm sure the frequency of drones has even increased because they're trying to catch as to when it is actually producing vehicles, as opposed to just tests. But that is coming soon. So Elon had indicated that yes, there will be some sort of a party at Giga Texas. And he on Twitter just this week had indicated to someone's question that it is being planned for early 2022. So we don't have any more details as to the day or month or how much leeway or I guess warning ahead you're going to receive. Most likely, yeah, it might be it's happening now. Whoever can get here are welcome. But I've got to believe there's going to be some sort of a website, I guess, submission, because there's going to be tens of thousands of people that would want to attend. So there is going to be some sort of a website selection mechanism that they will put up. And I think in the case of Berlin, it had about a week at notice. So yeah, most likely it'll be something similar. But we are definitely keeping our eyes open.
They should Willy Wonka it and just make your app randomly ping. You got a golden ticket.
No, not just randomly, because you should have to go into your app and say I'd be willing to go. And then with the ones that come in that said they're willing, then the golden ticket goes out to those individuals.
But I think it'd be more surprising if they just randomly got you and then that
would suck if a guy said, "Well, I can't go. I'm not going," and he gets a ticket.
Well, then they have a second string for people who didn't say yes, RSVP me.
Okay, all right. So actually, after we posted this story on Twitter, someone responded almost immediately and said, "I hope they give us enough time so we can get there."
That part.
And it's like, yeah, that's I can't.
They don't always do that. They
Can't
don't always
guarantee
do
that.
that. It's a habit of theirs. I'm interested in going if I get a golden ticket. What about you?
Definitely. Yep. And we'll have to trade plus ones if either of us gets one.
There we go.
Uh, so we will have to see as time goes along as to when that gets announced. I would say if I had to bet on it, I would think that it would be, I would say, first week of February.
Yeah, sometime before it starts getting hot in Texas.
Yeah.
And before people are in the way of them building cars.
I don't know. I think it's going to be unlike the Berlin. I think it's going to be operational by the time that they do the ticket. You're right though. It makes sense to have it before they're in full production, because
That
of
way they're
course
not blocking the parking lots and stuff.
yeah, they're not blocked. There's no issue with it at all. That does make sense, but it's of course here we are, end of December, still not active yet. So we're going to be into, they may turn the switch in the next 7 days. Who knows? But even if they do turn the switch in the next 7 days, it's going to be low production. So they're going to be working on that ramp up all that time. You wouldn't want 10,000 people wandering through when you're trying to ramp up production. So
right.
yeah, it's interesting. Put your guess in the notes of the show as to when you think, what week and month do you believe that Giga Texas will open up for its party?
Yeah, and we've seen even Shanghai started out with a slow ramp. It's like they learned something with Fremont and Model 3.
Yeah,
And it's not slow now. Ooh, that thing is cranking them out.
exactly. Next
Speaking
story.
of.
let's talk about $11 billion. Now, this is 11 billion with a B. 11. That, of course, is the tax amount that Elon has indicated he will be paying for taxes in 2021 with the sale recently of a number of his stocks. Again, in order required by law, he was selling shares in order to pay for a tax bill that was based on shareholders or shareholdings. So it was not unexpected. There might have been some were saying it was going to be as high as 15 billion. So there was interest that it came down to 11. But even at 11 billion, no other American has ever paid that type of money on a tax bill in a single year. Now, they didn't indicate who was in second place. Like, what was that? Was it a billion, only a billion, and Elon's at 11, or was it 10.5? We don't know. But that is a ton of money to pay in taxes. Not of course saying that it wasn't owed, but we've heard from some people talking about Elon and being a freeloader, and that's just not the case. It's silly.
I wonder if she's checked her calendar to see.
We've seen a Twitter war between Elon and what's the senator's name?
Warren or Bernie?
Yes. No, Warren.
Okay.
We've seen a Twitter war with Bernie too, but Warren had indicated that Elon was a freeloader, and there must be a way to get the Man of the Year to pay his fair share. And this is just absolutely ridiculous. Warren obviously has not looked at the actual facts of the case, and when she came out and actually paid for Facebook ads, indicating that Elon was not paying his fair share, it's sad. I just don't, trying to win political points on a lie, and it's misdirection of the public at large, because she believes that people are hating on Elon because of his wealth status.
I'm wondering if her Sanders and Reich are perhaps just trying to curry favor with those people who hear Elon's name and start frothing at the mouth. I'm wondering if they even care about accuracy, because all three of them have been corrected numerous times, and they come back out after correction and continue on with the same story. I mean, I understand getting along, or even if they were like anti-political to him, but you gotta base your arguments on the truth. And when you just continue with what it's a lie, like he doesn't pay his taxes. Okay, so in 2018 he didn't pay any taxes because in 2017 he overpaid and he didn't have any income and he didn't catch any stocks. So it's not like he's hiding money overseas or he's getting multiple yachts.
It's not like he got away with it either. It's like, he held on to it till he sold the stock, which is when the taxes are due. So he's playing with the rules that the government has put together. And in fact,
he's not using loopholes.
Right. He's not using any loopholes when he has the ability to use those loopholes, and he's not even doing it. In fact, there was a write-up that he is costing himself extra millions of dollars because he's not following the rules and taxation that are laid out before him. He's
sell the shares at the least cost basis, and he's selling the oldest shares.
Exactly. So there is even that. So obviously Elon is doing the right thing. He's paying his fair share, and for Elizabeth Warren and others to continually promote that he is evading taxes somehow it's just completely wrong, and it's misleading the American public for what purpose? A political purpose of getting them on her side? Like it's ridiculous. And as Casey said, maybe it's just going after the Elon haters that aren't interested in facts anyways.
But they could still do it with truth, though. They could say, "Oh, he doesn't want a union." Okay, that would still get these people wound up, and it would be true. versus lying and saying that he didn't pay any taxes.
It is ridiculous, but that is the state of politics today. And we've seen that with the past president, and we're now seeing it with this senator that is playing games, playing fast and loose with the truth, and even promoting that through social media, which is ridiculous. I am surprised that Facebook doesn't shut down the ad based on it being not factual.
And they should, because that was part of their whole platform with what they got the other guy kicked off of their platforms for, was because he was lying too much. Well, here's a person in public trust lying. There should be a punishment.
Paying you, Facebook, to spread the lie.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And Derek has a great point, and it's something that their friend Georgia always says: you got to follow the money and follow the figure out where the real truth is coming from. And in this case, I mean, there are those people who feel that rich people are evil, but then there's also, as you said, there's something going on here. And if we look and see who's paying these people, we'll find there's more to this story.
Yeah. Speaking of more to the story, Casey's got our next story, and this, of course, is about the hot holiday special. What is going on, Casey? What is happening?
So we've got a software update coming out. Two of them, actually. We've got one coming out on the beta channel, FSD beta 10.7 or 8, depending on how you want to count it. 10.7 we've seen leaks for, and it includes all the same things we're about to talk about in the 2021.44.25 software update for holiday season. So the big headliners are you get a new user interface, the light show, and much more. I don't like the new UI. It synchronizes it with Plaid. We thought that Plaid was going to be synchronized with the rest of the fleet, but no. They're simplifying and hiding stuff in the menus. All the same stuff everybody was complaining about with the new cars is going to happen to all the other cars, including the existing Model Ys, Model 3s, and S and X. And it's coming up soon.
So if you like your UI now, hug it once more because it's going away.
It's going to change. So hopefully when true version 11 comes out, some of these add our fingerprint fingertip features come back. But basically, they're trying to simplify. So, like, to find out your energy, you're going to have to go into the menu, into energy. To find out your tire pressure, you go into the menu, into the tire pressure. But quick stuff that's important, like your wipers on the wiper cards for those cars that don't have a stock like mine. You can push the wiper button one time, and then the card will pop up, and you can pick whether you want auto or what speed. Or if you hold it down, it'll clean the window. It's similar to the Plaid has that too. You push the wiper and then you scroll on the wheel with what you want, or hold it down and it washes.
One nice intervention with those buttons, of course, is the programmable one, where you can say, "I use this one over and over. I want it available."
Exactly. So some other headline features. All of you folks that don't have the Fabergé egg, like myself and Patrick, you can now participate in the holiday light show. Although your car will not dance like ours do.
You mean no one has come by and installed actuators in my doors overnight?
Correct. I wonder if it'll do the flappy mirrors thing, though.
I could do that, definitely. Now, has the tune changed?
No.
It's the same tune.
The same one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They had a chance. They had a chance. They should have changed the tune.
Right, but if your car has the segmented LEDs or the new LED projectors, it'll do just like my Model X, and it'll go through the segments, and it'll be choreographed. I think on the older cars that get the updated MCU, if they get this feature, they'll just turn on and off the xeons. And all right,
and
so
what happens if you have a new 2021 X? I'm sorry, not X. 3 or Y. Apparently, the lights will display the word Tesla.
Oh, cool. Oh, because they have the projector beam lights, yeah. Or the matrix. Yeah. And those are legal now in the States. So they actually might, now that they have practiced with this light show, they may actually put that into play on the road, which would be really nice. You get a customizable app launcher, like Mark had alluded to, where you get to customize how what buttons are stuck there for you. The simplified controls, which I was just complaining about. You get a blind spot camera. When you turn on your blinker, the side camera will pop up. Finally. We've been asking for this since Honda had it in 2008. So basically, as soon as we had side cameras, we said, why can't we see them when we turn? You've had the ability to have waypoints if you're on the production version, and we will finally get waypoints in the beta track. But everybody will get the ability to edit their waypoints, so you don't have to just delete it and start over again. You can say, let's go here instead.
Yep. So if you've made a mistake or an update in your trip, you don't have to wipe it out and start over.
Exactly. TikTok is coming to the theater. I wonder what that'll do. I'm not allowed to use it at work, or because of work. Interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog is coming to the arcade, and the Battle of Polytopia is going to go multiplayer. And for those Sudoku fans out there, you can now play Sudoku in the car. On the screen. You can always play it in the car, but now the car will let you play it on itself.
There you go.
Let's see. What else am I missing in here? This is such a long update. So this is why I say it's the second fire, because it's a lot more exciting than fart mode outside my car or boombox for somebody who doesn't have a speaker like me and Mark. We don't have speakers.
Now it'll be interesting if with this with a 3 and a Y being able to play the light show.
Yes.
We saw a video from somebody in Europe that's posted on the Twitter feed if you want to take a look. But we saw that the windows were going up and down. It looked like to the music. I did not see the side mirrors move, but you would think that would be quite easy to do.
I'd actually prefer my windows not move up and down.
I don't think I'll be playing this too much in February.
Right.
But yeah, it's maybe in the garage. Maybe
on Model X, what it does is it'll roll down usually all the windows. Sometimes they'll forget.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they'll forget and they'll just do one or 3.
And then, of course, was to blare the music out of the car before there were external speakers.
Right, because we didn't have external speakers at the time. And then sometimes it would remember to roll the windows back up when it was done, if it finished. This 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 Easter egg was just for fun. It was not meant to. It was not tested very well.
Sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And on each update, they sometimes mess with it on accident.
No, with the X also, with the X, it was there was a proximity sensor, so it wouldn't let anyone get near the car. If they did get too close to the car, it would shut off and would stop the presentation. So with a Y or a 3 where the doors are not going to open, I'm wondering if the proximity sensor will work or if it's.
I think they should do it just to spite you guys.
So we will definitely have to check that out when it shows up. And like I said, it's what we got.
Couple days.
3 days until Christmas Day. Less than 2 days to Christmas Eve. So
one year
should be arriving shortly.
1 year they came after Christmas, but every other year they've been either on Christmas Eve, shortly before. I'm hoping they stick to tradition and get it out before the people go home for the week. So you also get cold weather improvements. And this is not like the previous cold weather improvements where we don't know what they did. They actually say you can now precondition the cabin from the Tesla app when your battery is at a lower state of charge. So if you're in the yellow or the red, maybe not the red, but definitely you couldn't do it at the yellow before. You can override the warning and say, yes, you confirm that you may be stranding yourself, and turn on the heater.
And then they're recording that. So when you complain, they say, hey, you're the one that overrid it. We have
you said yes.
6
we did what you said
on this day.
Yes. To protect your car's battery, climate will remain unavailable at the extreme low charge scenario. So that probably means in the red, it will still be unavailable. You don't want to end up in club static.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the club static t-shirt. This feature requires Tesla mobile app version 4.4.0. Get automatic seat heaters, so they're going to tie in with the whatever temperature you've selected on the automatic climate control. It's now easier to manage dash clips as a delete all button, finally. Dark mode improvements and hide map details. There's another one of those ones I didn't really understand. It sounds like they're just deleting stuff from me. I don't want it more simple. I want it more clean, but not don't delete stuff. Just
don't take away my options, man.
Yeah. But at least that one's an option, unlike the rest of the UI, where they're just removing everything. Let's see. Dark mode, map details. And that's all for now. But there's definitely going to be more in there. And so whenever I get it, I'll be looking for them as I do. So let's see what the chat said about this while we were talking. Yeah. Campaign money from Big Oil, I believe so. Sonic!
Sonic the Hedgehog, what, 2000, 2009, I think it was?
Sonic was when I was a baby.
I think it was. I think the version that's in is basically a 2009 release, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess
the one that's going into Tesla. So
I'd be fine. I'd be fine with the 90s version.
I'm not a big games guy in the car at all. Like really. First time I ever used the beach buggy game, which is it still called the beach buggy game?
Yes, sure. Tesla Beach Buggy Racing.
Was just a week ago. I was in the parking lot waiting for my daughter to get out of work, and it had just freshly snowed all over the parking lot, so I didn't have any problem twisting the wheel on the snow. So I fired up the game and played a few rounds. It was fun, but again, don't sit in the car that much to play it. I guess on a long trip, maybe you'd. But again, I found when I was on a long trip that I wanted to get out and walk around for 20 minutes as I was supercharging, as opposed to sit in the car and play another game. But it's, I don't know, it's something that is a nice thing for kids. Allow your kids to play it a little bit if you're on the road, possibly. But yes, Derek, remember the 64? Definitely.
Yes.
Well, with that, is that a wrap on that one, Casey?
Well, yeah, it could be, but I think that it's fun for gamers. But for me, just like you, I got the most games in when I was waiting on somebody else, versus just for the heck of it, because I do find it more convenient to just whip out my phone, or if I'm at the house, just come over here and play the Xbox or the PC.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Although it might be more fun on the Ryzen equipped Model S and Model X with the controller and the
Well, actually, with that, in those two games, The Witcher and
Cyberpunk,
yeah, they're not released yet for the S or the X. They're claiming that they're hoping early next year, and Elon is kind of indicated that that they're having to make tweaks in order for the game to run efficiently in the cars.
Probably because they, once they see all that power, they assume they're plugged in, and they just take it rather than saying, "Oh, we might be on a laptop."
Elon says they're definitely still coming. It's just that they're having some issues with making them run in the cars. So because even at the actual unveiling, there was a live version up and running in one of the test cars that were there. So we saw people playing it. But with that, I think that's about a wrap for the week. We certainly want to wish everyone out there a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. I believe we're going to be back next week because the Wednesday is in between Christmas and New Year's, so we'll probably be back. And you can join us then with your turkey hangover and whatever else, your presents, and we'll all get together and have another view on what's happening in the Tesla life. But Casey, what do you got happening this week? Obviously, everyone's on a holiday schedule, but what do you got planned for your channel?
So I'm going to be working on some more of those videos I've been recording. I have not stopped recording videos, even though I've slowed down on publishing them. The computer has been upgraded. The storage server has been upgraded, so I can now get them out faster. Except the new GoPro takes bigger videos than the old one, so that was a bit of a watch. But I don't only use GoPros, so that will help. And on Sunday we've got another chat. So it'll be unboxing day. Well, let's chat. We can all come out and see what we got in our stockings. Maybe some Cybertruck stuff. Who knows? And you can find that at youtube.com/Casey Green, KACEYGREEN.
Fantastic. Yeah. And of course, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press that subscribe button. Helps us out. Doesn't cost you a dime. You support the channel. Would really appreciate that. That really helps the channel along. And with that, we will catch you next week. And together, we will find out what is going on in the Tesla life.
Indeed. And I forgot to load up the sound, so we're going to go old school. It's going to come through my microphone.
There we go. I can hear it.
I have to turn off my...
Have yourselves a fantastic week. And enjoy the holidays.
Indeed. I had to turn off my my sound silencer so you guys don't hear all the sirens going by. I want to thank Lay Moon, and I want to wish everybody a happy holiday season. We'll catch you just in time for the new year.